Welcome to the Guilty as Charged podcast. Maddie Schmidt here, and today I'm joined by former Chattanooga Guard and NFL draft prospect Cole Strange. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you have quite the story, and I can't wait to learn more about your journey. You're a guy who's sort of flown under the radar throughout your football career, and now, just days away from the NFL draft, you have people's attention. How does it feel knowing that you could very well get drafted and play in the National Football League?
No, it's definitely incredible. Um, it's kind of something I've said before in other interviews, and I know I probably sound delusional, especially to some of the guys who actually saw me playing whenever I was younger. But I've always kind of believed in myself. I always thought it would happen in one way or another. But to think that people would be tossing my name around like it is, getting drafted in any round. Honestly, I'm just praying to get on a team. Rookie minicamp invite. It's really a dream come true.
Well, they say if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will.
That's true. Exactly.
Take me back to early on in your football career, growing up in Knoxville as a Tennessee Volunteers fan. What was that like?
It was tough. Yeah, that was a tough time growing up. We hung on to 98 for the longest, and I ended up saying to hell with Tennessee, being a fan around my senior year, because I was getting recruited by Chattanooga and not like a bunch of teams, but the teams that were recruiting me weren't Tennessee. And so I was like, well, shoot, these teams and coaches, actually like me. They want to pay me to come to school and play football. Like, why would I continue to be, supporting Tennessee or, so yeah, it was a tough time growing up though, for sure.
I'm a Florida Gator. I can relate, especially nowadays.
Oh,
So
man.
take me flash forward a bit to high school. You didn't always play O lineman. What position did you initially play?
Yeah, no, I actually played linebacker in high school. So I think it was about my freshman year. Through my junior year, I played linebacker. And then my senior year, I put on a little bit of weight and grew a little bit, and they moved me to defensive end. And then whenever I got to Chattanooga, they moved me to offensive line again. So it was like another position change. I don't really know where that came from. They just put me at O-line.
How did you cope with switching positions?
Well, honestly, it was a little tough. It was really tough for a little bit playing O-line, just because a lot of the movements aren't natural movements. Defense, I feel like, is much more natural. It was for me. But learning to set took me pretty much 4 or 5 years. I'm pretty much still learning. But it was tough. But it was also, I think it was kind of a blessing, because I think my potential has always been at offensive line. So I think it was the best thing for me.
Everything happens for a reason.
It
You
does.
briefly mentioned the high school recruitment process and getting frustrated with bigger schools like Tennessee. Eventually, you chose Chattanooga. Why is that?
So I had the only two FBS offers that I did have were West Point and Air Force Academy, and I really liked both of them. I really liked Air Force Academy, and it's kind of a weird story. I ended up signing with Air Force Academy, but it was more so a matter of, the Air Force Academy is out in Colorado Springs, and I was a big homebody. Still kind of am. I love going home and seeing my family. And with those military schools, you only get 2 to 3 weeks, or I think even less than that, 2 weeks of leave per year to go see your family. And my family was not going to be able to come out to see me. So, Chattanooga being close to home. And I'd taken a visit down here, and I loved the area, and the coaches were really cool, and the school was nice. So it wasn't like it was, oh, shit, well, I guess I'll have to go to Chattanooga. I really like Chattanooga, too.
There are lots of arguments about getting to the league from FCS schools and Division two levels. People say there's a struggle to get noticed by pro scouts. Cole, you have been noticed. How would you say your experience at an FCS school affected your draft situation?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure, because I guess I'm a decent example. No matter where you play, if you're good enough, scouts will notice, and scouts have noticed and they're talking to me. I think it would probably be more beneficial to have played at a bigger school because just for the sake that a knock on pretty much any FCS guy or Division II or Division III is the level of competition isn't as good. So when you turn on the tape, are the guys that are going against, is it because they're good or is it because those guys aren't that good? That's a knock on pretty much anyone who plays at the FCS. It's good for me and for, I guess, every other FCS guy that, we have like an FBS game each year. But I don't know. I guess it's one of those things I haven't really thought about. When I was at Chattanooga, I didn't really ever think about transferring, or I guess it's just I just always believed if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. If I was going to get noticed, it was going to be here.
It sounds like you have the mindset that if it's meant to be, it'll be. Is that true?
That is true. And I do believe it's meant to be. So it works out for me, unless, it doesn't work. And then I'll be like, what the hell happened?
Cole, I'm not an athlete. I don't know what it's like being a college football player. What do you remind yourself every day as you're going through this process? I can only imagine how stressful and hectic it has been.
Yeah, it has been a little bit stressful. I think, honestly, the biggest thing is you just have to love it. I think maybe some guys can kind of, do it. Some guys definitely do it, but they're just doing it, to get their school paid for. And I played with guys like that, and it's kind of a drag because, the other guys on the team know it, the coaches know it, they're not really in it. I think that's just my thought is like, if you love it and it's something you enjoy doing, it won't really be that stressful. It'll be difficult. It'll be tough. It'll be, like you'll get hurt. Not like injuries that might happen, but you'll get banged up and bruised up. But I think it's just like, if you love it and you really enjoy it, then it's not even something that comes into your mind of like, I need to remind myself, like, keep going forward. It's just like, this is how things are,
That's awesome. I love that. Is there any particular advice that you would give college football players out there, particularly early on in their careers?
I guess one piece of advice that I would give is that I think the most important thing, like the things that you can't really change about yourself, like your height or, you can change how fast you are, your athleticism and your strengths, but, you can work out. But aside from doing the things that, like that, preparing for the season, working out, doing speed training, like working on your technique, I think the most important thing and one of the things that coaches look at the most is like, if you just play your ass off, like if every single play you were absolutely, for my circumstance, blocking until the end of the whistle, or, if you're running back or wide receiver, whatever it is you're doing, like, do not save yourself. Don't worry about getting tired or exhausted. Like, it's going to happen, but just get used to going 100% every single play. And I know that sounds so cliche, but actually, like, firing off the ball as hard as you can and blocking somebody as hard as you can until the whistle blows, and then shoving them like half a second after the whistle blows. Like, if you do that, I think that's what teams noticed me for. I could be wrong. I don't think teams notice me because I have great technique or because I'm this massive freak. If anything, everyone says I'm scrawny. But all the teams I talk to, they say they like how I finish and how I play. And I think that that's something anyone can control. Like, I don't want to talk myself down, but anyone can give, all of themselves. You know what I mean? Anyone can give 100%. Anyone can, run as hard as they can or block as hard as they can. I think that's the most important thing.
Control the controllables, as they say, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Cole, there's talk of you making your way into the second round, but I want to know, and I'll leave you on this question. What makes you different? Why should an NFL team draft you in the 2022 NFL draft?
Well, I would say kind of like what we were just talking about. I do think that, and I do hate talking about myself like this, but I think that what sets me apart is my mindset. And on top of that, I think that the biggest thing with me is that I'm very, very confident that I can get a lot better. At Chattanooga, I had 6 different offensive line coaches, 3 different offensive coordinators, 4 different strength coaches. I didn't have any continuity. And I think that I improved more so in my very last offseason than I did any year before that. And it was just because I think I matured and I understood what I needed to work on and what, position specific things I needed to do to get better at football, not just working out and, trying to gain weight. And I feel like with time, I can improve much, much, much more than I know I can get a lot better than what I am now. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
You sound like you have the right mindset to make it, and I'll be looking for you come Thursday, come Friday of next week. Thank you so much for your time, Cole. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.